We all watch the videos, right? We know that we are watching people be disappeared, thrown into trucks by masked individuals that are not identifiable, that are driving unmarked vehicles, that are chasing and hunting people down. I didn't know what was going to be next in that moment. But it is extremely important for us right now to continue to lead with courage, even though it's scary. It's important right now for us to utilize every single tool that we have at our disposal. Making sure you have legal counsel and allowing them to guide you in the most appropriate ways is a way to do that. And there are so many other organizing techniques in this moment that's going to allow us to continue to fight back fascism.
Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn here, and we've got a breaking news story for you today, which doesn't happen very often, family, because I be one person out here, okay? But the stars aligned, and we've got some breaking news for you today, which I think is really important. You already know Chicago all day here, and our special guest is Alderperson Jessie Fuentes of the 26th Ward here in Chicago, and you may know Jessie from this moment that happened on October the 3rd.
Burn your laws.
He has constitutional rights.
No.
He has constitutional rights. Do you have a sign?
No. You need to leave.
For me.
Turn around. You're turn around and leave.
He is under.
I'm going to arrest you.
Arrest. You are going to be placed under arrest.
Do you have a sign? Judicial warrant for him.
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me, please?
Judicial warrant for him.
Can somebody go in the hallway and get Lisa for me? This is an Alderperson who's being under arrest. I need my other staffer who's in the hallway by registration to come here, please.
You are hurting. I am asking. I am not.
Can somebody get my staffer, please?
This is the hospital. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? I am asking. I am asking. I did not touch you.
We told you to leave.
I did not touch you.
Now you're
I
under
did not
arrest for
touch you.
impeding.
I did
Thank
not
you.
touch you. I asked you if you had a
Is
signed
Lisa still out there?
judicial warrant for him. It is very simple. It is very simple. That man has constitutional rights. I did not touch you. It is a public space. I am not trespassing. I am asking you. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant for him? It is a question, sir. You are an agent. You are a federal agent.
We do not need a
You are a
warrant for
federal
somebody
agent.
under
I am an
arrest.
elected official, and I am asking. Do you have a signed judicial warrant? I'm the alderman of this.
Can you keep recording? I need to call.
So, Jessie, on October the 3rd, my understanding is that you got a call from one of your constituents that led you to the Humboldt Park Hospital, right? And can you tell us what happened after that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got a phone call from the president of Humboldt Park Health Hospital, which is a hospital that's in my ward, letting me know that ICE was in the emergency room. They had brought someone in, and that, we had constituents who were fearful that were in the emergency room. We had staff that were scared that this was unacceptable, that hospitals should not be a place where ICE is welcome. I committed to make my way there. When I arrived there, I was received by the hospital leadership that took me in the direction where ICE agents were at. When I encountered the ICE agents outside of the room, I had asked them if they had a signed judicial warrant for the individual that they had detained and brought to the hospital. Now, they never answered that question, nor were they ever going to. But what we seen in the video and what I experienced in moments before the recording was being met with a lot of aggressiveness. Before my staffer turns on the phone to actually record, I'm shoved by the ICE agent that's fully masked in that video. It's what prompts her to take out the phone and start recording. Now, it was important to me just to sort of stick to the mission for why I was there in the first place. And that was to make sure that my constituent had due process, that there was a signed judicial warrant, and that, his due process wasn't being eroded during the detainment, and to just stay calm and continue to ask the question. Now, I was handcuffed. I was threatened with arrest. I was told by a Border Patrol agent that they don't need a signed judicial warrant for anyone that's illegal, and that they can sort of do what they want. You see in the video that I also articulate that, the individual is hurting me, right? He has sort of yanked my arm. He's putting my hands mid-back so he can handcuff me. When we go outside of the emergency room, the ICE agent calls for backup, where a vehicle pulls up, 2 Border Patrol agents come out. opens the back door, and then we started sort of debating whether or not I'm going to get into the back seat of this vehicle. And the reason was because it was important to me to continue to articulate my rights and articulate the events that happened, right? I was only asking a question. I didn't impede on an arrest. I wasn't trying to talk to the patient they had detained. I didn't touch any of the ICE individuals. I wasn't trespassing. I was welcomed in by the leadership of the hospital. So I needed to know, what was I being handcuffed for, detained for, and what was I going to be charged with. They couldn't articulate that. I think what also was helpful was that hospital staff and community were out there recording and articulating that I had done nothing wrong. There comes a point where the Border Patrol agent says to unhandcuff me, and the ICE agent says that if I go back into the hospital, I'd be arrested.
And while we watched that video, and that video, family, if you haven't seen it, I don't know where you've been. I know there's been a lot going on, but that video, I think, really just serves as a reminder of just how dangerous ICE is, just how unlawful their actions have been in our neighborhoods, and also just how fearful people are in their homes, in their neighborhoods. People are not coming outside. And now I understand from a press release that dropped, you are filing legal action against the ICE agent for what took place that day. Is that right?
That's right. So we filed a federal tort suit, which is a civil lawsuit, to be able to sue them on civil grounds for assault, battery, false detainment, false arrest, in that case on October 3rd at the hospital. Now, it's important to me that we hold folks accountable, and that's the purpose of this lawsuit, right? We have federal agents across the city of Chicago violating people's constitutional rights, physically assaulting folks, detaining them without any legal justification, eroding due process. And if they are going to believe that they are above the law, then they're going to have to deal with the law. And so the purpose of the lawsuit that we filed is to hold the department accountable. Now, we can't sue the individuals, and so we're suing the federal government.
And I'm so glad that you are, honestly. It takes a whole lot of courage to do it, but they are acting as if they are above the law. And so many people who are being impacted by ICE don't have the resources or the money to file a lawsuit, don't have the connections to fight back in any way. I think people feel very helpless right now. And so the fact that you are fighting back, I think it'll be representative of what might be a possibility for others.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, in this moment, we can't lead with fear, although it's scary times, right? I mean, I have to admit, in that moment of being handcuffed, I was scared. We all watched the videos, right? We know that we are watching people be disappeared, thrown into trucks by masked individuals that are not identifiable, that are driving unmarked vehicles, that are chasing and hunting people down. I didn't know what was going to be next in that moment. But it is extremely important for us right now to continue to lead with courage, even though it's scary. It's important right now for us to utilize every single tool that we have at our disposal to continue to fight back. The court systems is a way of doing that. Making sure you have legal counsel and allowing them to guide you in the most appropriate ways is a way to do that. And there are so many other organizing techniques in this moment that's going to allow us to continue to fight back fascism.
I agree. And I believe your courage will be contagious for somebody else in your situation. I believe that it'll be an example for many others. So, what happens next with the lawsuit?
Well, it's an administrative filing. We have to see if the federal government, in fact, will accept the torts claim. And then soon enough, my attorney will let us know if we're going into a hearing. This is not something that will go into a trial. It does not require a bench trial by any means or jurors. So we will be able to engage directly in this suit with the judge and, in this case, the defendants, the federal government. And so we look forward to, sort of what this civil suit looks like, being able to fully articulate and prove the violations that we are watching ICE agents conduct, not just in my case, but in all cases across the city. We need to utilize this opportunity to fully articulate the reality of what's happening in the city of Chicago and not the narrative that Donald Trump or Kristi Noem's putting out.
Absolutely. And since that moment on October the 3rd, I understand that y'all have had an outpouring of support and volunteers. Can you tell me about what that's looked like and how that's made you feel?
Absolutely. Well, I have to say the level and representation of solidarity that we're seeing in this moment speaks to the type of collective strength that we have in the city of Chicago. I mean, we have neighbors from all different backgrounds, shades of color, and economic sort of realities coming together to say that they believe that our neighbors should feel safe, that we should keep families together, that we should abide by people's constitutional rights, and we should follow the law. We have rapid responders who have been trained to document ICE sightings in our community. And in fact, it has been the documentation by everyday individuals with their cell phones that has allowed us to fully tell the story of what's happening here in the city of Chicago. Look, ICE is walking around with full production teams. We've seen that during the South Shore raid when they landed a Black Hawk helicopter on the building, rappelled down the building in the middle of the night while people were sleeping. While they were doing that, there was an entire production team behind them documenting this for the purposes of marketing. But we have everyday individuals that are documenting the reality of what's happening in our city so that we can have the proof that we need to continue to fight back. We have rapid responders creating safe passage for parents and children so that children can go to school and feel safe that their parents are going to be there when they get out. We have individuals who have been doing groceries for families that are terrified to leave the house or go to work in a moment in which they don't know if they're going to have the opportunity to see their children at the end of the day. We have individuals who have been donating to mutual aid so that we can have a legal fund for families that may need it when a relative is taken by ICE. All of these expressions of solidarity and investments in mutual aid in this moment is allowing us to continue to do the work to fight back in this moment. Look, it's difficult when you are a working class family and the financial provider of your household gets taken, right? So what do you do with that mortgage? What do you do with that bill? How do you take your children to school? How do you sustain your household? Well, community is saying, don't you worry, we're here to have you back.
And Chicago's been showing up. And to your point, I'm glad everybody got their phones out. Okay, everybody, his phones is out and things are charged, and it's really helping to document and tell the story. I'm also really proud of Chicago's media landscape and the partnerships and amplifying what's happening on the streets every day and counteracting the propaganda from the Trump administration 150%. Now, Alderperson, if somebody wants to get involved, yeah, with the mutual aid work, with the rapid response teams, wants to volunteer, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, in wards across the city of Chicago, there's a lot of political organizations that are building and expanding robust mutual aid efforts in the 26th ward. We have United Neighbors of the 26th ward, and we're building out a mutual aid fund as well as a system for rapid responders. The Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights has been training individuals across the state on how to be rapid responders. If you want to be a rapid responder to help document ICE sightings and the atrocities and constitutional violations we're seeing in the city, you can get a training by ICErs so that you're doing so in a way that ensures your own safety. Look, it's important for us to document in this moment. It's important for us to show up. It's important for us to engage in mutual aid. It is equally as important for us to ensure that we are safe. And we know in this moment, federal agents are targeting our rapid responders. When they see people who are recording, they are threatening them with arrest. I mean, we've seen it with journalists and our media peers who are being detained and arrested and charged for documenting what's happening in this moment. So being trained is the most important part. And I will say this, it's also important for folks to know their rights. You never know when you are going to be in a situation where ICE is in your community, in your workspace, or maybe at your front door. And so it's important for us that individuals know they don't have to open that door. Look, if folks have a signed judicial warrant, they're going to knock that door down. It's important for folks to know that they should document. They have the right to document on private property and in the public way. And everyone has a right to legal counsel. And no one is exempt from that. And so there are organizations right now that are prepared to continue to grow our network of supporters and organizers. And I invite everyone to be a part of the work.
And family, we'll include links in our show notes, yes, so that you can have an easy access to get involved and get more information. What do you tell folks who may say, this isn't my fight right now? This isn't for me. I don't need to do anything. What do you say to those people?
Well, I want to tell you that first and foremost, what we're seeing in the city of Chicago is not immigration enforcement. What we are seeing in the city of Chicago is a war against the individuals that live on the soil in which our president was elected to represent. We are watching journalists, media folks be battered, tackled, tear gas, shot with pepper bullets, and detained. We are watching rapid responders be cuffed and thrown into trucks. We're watching everyday individuals, despite legal status, citizenship, or color or language, be taken by ICE agents. Individuals are not even being asked for identification. They're literally being taken by these individuals who are carrying out Gestapo like tactics. What we are seeing is fascism on our streets. We are seeing an erosion of our constitutional rights, and we're seeing a violation of the right to record. And what we are also seeing is a violation of freedom of the press. This is our fight. This is our collective fight. This is an attack on our city. And right now, we don't have time to be divided. And we don't have time to allow these agents to continue to ensue chaos in our neighborhoods. This is a time to be in solidarity, to lean into our collective strength, because we have a city to protect.
150%. And the part about having a city to protect, to know that someone called you, knowing that you were going to show up that day, I think is a testament to who you are and the work that you and your office is doing in the 26th Ward. And I'm so curious about the gentleman that you went there to protect. Do you have an update on him?
Yeah, absolutely. So the individual that was at the hospital ultimately needed to have reconstructive surgery to his leg. There was many parts of his leg that were shattered and broken between his knee and his ankle. This individual had temporary protected status. He had filed for his renewal. He didn't have a criminal record. And for about 5 to 6 days, he wasn't allowed to speak to an attorney. In fact, ICE agents were at the hospital by his side on rotation 24 hours of the day, violating all of his constitutional rights, by the way, and violating HIPAA because they were in the room while he was receiving medical attention. And there were several instances where medical staff were asked to only speak to him in English and not in Spanish, which also is a violation of his rights. Now, ICE has left his side. He has been able to have legal representation. There's a legal counsel team that will be supporting him in whatever decisions that he makes moving forward. I think in this moment, he is focusing on his recovery from the surgery, and we will support him in any way he sees fit in terms of next steps.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad he has the support that he needs. And Alderperson Jessie Fuentes, thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm so glad you're fighting back in all the ways. And I'm so glad you and your office are supporting your community so folks can get home and get back to their families. So, family, we're going to keep following the story because this is important. There's no better time than right now. We got. You already know. This is E3 Radio. We are Queer News Done Right.